As families struggle to pay the soaring costs of college, a growing number of parents are concerned the money used to pay for their child's tuition will hurt their retirement. According to a recent survey, a majority of parents say they're worried their retirement will be jeopardized by student loan debt. Joining me now, a Texas couple facing that very concern right now, Scott and Erin Norris. And here to help them out, financial advisor Derrick Kinney. Welcome to you all. It's great to have you here. Scott and Erin, I'm going to start with you. We appreciate, by the way, you're sharing your story with us. It's just fantastic. But tell us, if you would, what your concerns are about your money right now.
Well, you know, really, I'm in my mid-50s, and retirement for me really is just around the corner. It's, you know, in theory, I'm 10 to 15 years away. Erin's much younger, so, you know, a little further away and probably not as focused on that. Just recently, we've realized that we have three boys, 17, 11, and 9. And the 17-year-old is a junior in high school, and next year we're kind of looking at college, and we've put a little bit of money away. All three boys have been in private school for the most part of their lives, and the two younger will continue that way. And we spent this money that was both for college and retirement. We feel as though we've kind of spent that over the last 15 years, and we realized we're not where we'd like to be when it comes to having our college and retirement savings where it should be.
I think a lot of people feel that way. You're certainly not alone. Erin, to you, why did you guys make the call on private school? Because it was a big financial commitment for three kids, that's for sure.
It was. At the time, it was a good fit for each of the boys. In fact, they've gone to different private schools. So it's just been for what's best for each different child,
right,
and giving them a good foundation. So that's why we did that. Our oldest now has attended public school. What
do you say, Derrick, to these folks about what they should be doing to bolster that retirement? And specifically, what do you say about that private school?
Well, you've got a great couple here who really wants to put their kids above themselves. And most people do. They want their kids to have the better education than they ever did. What I think about, and they call these college prep schools because it gets people used to paying for college, for goodness sakes, because of what private schools cost. What I think about here is, how do we not leverage our retirement for education? We want to make sure that we either use cash flow, scholarship it, or save for it, and try not to borrow it as best that we can. And that can be very, very hard because the temptation is there to pay as much as you can for college education. We want to make sure they can afford it, but also be able to retire with the lifestyle they want and not have their kids have to support them down the road.
Absolutely. Scott, what's your reaction to what Derrick's saying right now?
Well, I mean, he's hitting the nail on the head for us. We've spent, you know, $15,000 to $20,000 a year for private school. That could have and should have gone towards college and retirement, and it's not. So being able to reallocate that, and the fact that when Jacob goes to college, as soon as he gets out, Clayton and Griffin are going to go in right behind it. That's the main question I have for the money coach, is to say, how do I continue to save for retirement? Because when they get out of college, we want to retire.
Derrick, yeah, go ahead. Answer that question. I think that's a good one.
That's the big question right there. The key right now, and I know you mentioned that savings is tight right now, but I would suggest you force feed a 529 education savings plan. Take a couple $100s a month and just figure out a way to do it and see if it really affects your spending. What that 529 does, it saves for higher education expenses, all tax-free. Any growth you get, Uncle Sam can touch none of it. It's a great way to save. But also think about having
Derrick,
that
let me stop you
meeting
there for just a second, if I could. And just a note to you guys. The president is saying he wants to end 529s. Now, current 529s will be grandfathered in, but I don't know.
That's right.
You know, if you're going to start it today. That would be my advice.
Or if not, you know, Jerry, and if you don't, an education IRA can do the same thing. The bottom line is, find a tool that's going to give you a tax-favored benefit and save. Let the government sort of help you save for education. But here's what I encourage them to do, every family for that matter: have a candid, honest discussion with your kids about, look, here's what college costs, here's what mom and dad can afford, and here are your options. If you get good grades in school, get a scholarship, that will open up better doors for you. But mom and dad owe it to you to be a good example, not to borrow too much to leverage our retirement, which could put all of us in financial jeopardy down the road.
I want to get back to Scott and Erin here. Scott, how do you react to that? What do you say? And is it possible that your kids could contribute to college?
You know, absolutely. We think that they can and should. You know, Aaron and I both did for our college education. And, you know, Derrick, that's great to hear. We've not sat down with Jacob, even though he's a year away from college, and had that candid conversation. I don't know that, you know, he or the other boys really understand long-term the financial impact of college, especially, unfortunately, the colleges that he's electing to consider. They could be pretty expensive.
All right, guys. Derrick, last word quickly.
Well, the key here is to realize the sky is the limit on college expenses. Have a plan, know what you're comfortable with, but make sure that the kids are aware, here's what we have available. And I would start saving right away. A couple $100s a month right now can build up a big savings down the road.
Listen, you guys, Aaron and Scott, thank you so much for coming on. It's great to meet you, too. You know, every day it seems like we meet parents who are so good to their kids, and you're two of them. Derrick, thanks to you as well for coming on.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.